89 WLS. Matt Bubala in for Steve Cochran with Andrea Darlas. Nick Gale in the newsroom. And joining us on the phone right now is our friend, Officer Frank Flores. He's the Emergency Management and Community Emergency Response Team Coordinator for the Palos Park Police. Good morning, Officer Flores.
Good morning, folks, and happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween to you. Is that a bad day for a police officer in general? You're like, oh, God, Halloween again? No.
You know what? I've been doing this for 36 years, and I consider it one of the most fun days.
Oh, that's awesome.
Right, to be on the job. There's nothing like seeing the faces on those little ones, well, when they're not behind the masks, right?
Yeah.
The smiles and the excitement, that's what it's about.
Especially when it's not snowing and icy, right?
Exactly. Let's keep our fingers crossed.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Hey, tell us a little bit about the Stop the Bleed emergency training that you do. What is this for, and how can regular citizens get excited about something like this?
You know what? One of the things that was found under research by the American College of Surgeons and their trauma committee was that a lot of people who die, who become fatalities in not just shootings, but industrial accidents at home, in car crashes, is uncontrolled bleeding. And folks call 911. It's gonna take a few minutes for professional responders to get there, but people that are already there, trained in how to, alert, ABCs, alert, call 911, find where that person is bleeding, and then take some steps to control it, slow it down, stop it if at all possible, can literally save a life within those first 3 to 5 minutes.
Right, because you have to wait for the first responders to get there, which can be a couple of minutes. So what are some of the first things that you tell folks during the course, Frank, like immediately where to apply pressure to the wound?
Exactly. First of all, and one of the things we've been noticing, call 911. Don't call the relatives first. Don't call the family first. Call 911. Get those responders going. We are very blessed to live in an area with some of the finest professional paramedics and law enforcement professionals in this country. Get those folks moving to your location, right? Find where the bleeding is, because that's the interesting part. You can see bleeding on clothing. That doesn't mean that that's the location where the bleeding's coming from. So you need to get in there, and find where it's coming from. And then, just like you said, first thing you do, apply that pressure. Elevating the wound and applying the pressure is going to work on the vast majority of injuries. And for the really severe ones, that's where we have tourniquets.
It's interesting because I think a lot of people would call 911 and then be afraid to do too much, because you don't know what to do. But in general, and this is what you could learn through this class, at least as a starter, you're saying elevate the wound so that the blood is not rushing to it, and apply strong pressure and just hold it there until emergency can arrive?
Correct. And one of the reasons we'd like people to come in and take the program, and programs like this, is the confidence building. It's actually putting hands on. We have training tourniquets, we have training gauze, we have moulage, where people actually get to put hands on training items that simulate different wounds. So you're making that muscle memory, and we're trying to get that into that. I like calling it the file cabinet that you always use to get the information out of your mind quickly. Get past that initial. We all react, even professional responders. Yeah. We have a reaction when we see these things. But get down in there, save that person's life.
That's fascinating. I can imagine that being a huge thing, is the paralysis you might go through in not knowing what to do and not being able to react. So if you can get trained where you're used to it, you've seen this before, I know what this is, so that you act right away instead of standing around not knowing what to do, that I imagine would make a big difference.
Yes, huge. And if I can do a shameless plug, on November the 14th, we are hosting a program called You're the Help Until Help Arrives.
That's
right?
Good.
Because at most trauma locations, think about it. When an officer gets to a crash, when the fire department gets to the crash, there's people there. There's the people that called us. There's people already milling about and talking to the injured parties, right? And the second thing after bleeding is shock. Shock can kill an individual. You know what? Hold their hand. Talk to them. Tell them it's going to be okay. And again, we have these programs in Palos Park, and other municipalities have them also, to teach you those skills, because that 3 to 5 minutes, you can save a person's life. And is that not the most amazing thing you can do in this world?
I think it's absolutely wonderful. Frank, who should take this? I mean, obviously adults, but can teenagers, should they be taking classes like this too?
Everybody. I think we try to put an age limit on there of about, what's second grade nowadays? About 7 years old.
Oh, wow.
7 or 8,
young kids can take this.
But you don't have to be, people get hurt at home. A parent could actually be injured. And just like we teach those children to call 911, right, without, a parent needing to, to be there, prompting them, you can teach them to do these other things, and again, it's all about saving somebody's life.
Officer Frank, you've got this event going on November 14th. That's an in-person event?
Yes, it is.
Where can people... Yeah, go ahead. How do people sign up for that?
Matt, they can go to our Facebook page, right, at Palos Park CERT or Palos Park Police and get information. And we also are now on Eventbrite. If they look up Palos Park CERT, CERT, on Eventbrite, you can register right online.
Perfect. Okay, we've got about a minute left. Any quick Halloween tips for safety?
You know what? As always, have fun. Get out there and enjoy, but let's maintain that visibility, right? Make sure the kids can see these masks and things, make sure they can see. Yeah. Make sure that the costume is visible. You want to make sure that these kids are seen by drivers and seen by other folks wandering around. And as always, let them have their fun. Keep an eye on them.
And what about candy, Officer Frank? How much do you separate out before you let the kids get to it?
How did you know? Okay, somebody's been creeping because, yes, I already took the Butterfingers out.
Oh, those are good. Those are the good ones.
Oh, my goodness.
All right, Officer Flores. Thank you so much, Officer Frank Flores. All right, so go to Facebook and look for Palos Park CERT or Palos Park Police, and you can register for the event on November 14th and find out so much more about the Stop the Bleed emergency training. We really appreciate you jumping on as always, sir.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure talking to both of you.
Thank you, Frank.
Too. Have a very happy and safe Halloween.